I think we should have a border process that incentivizes legal immigration instead of illegal immigration. What do you think caused higher levels of border crossings under Joe Biden?
I don't know. You tell me.
The effects that COVID caused globally ravaged a lot of these countries a lot more, so they fled at higher instances. Hold on, wait, no, hold on. You have to let me finish a point. Hold on. You have to let me finish a point.
Let me ask you a question. Did you see the Biden border? Did you see what the crossings? It was insane.
Yeah, why do you think border crossings were insane under Biden?
I've seen video of it.
No, I'm asking you, what do you think caused that?
No. I'm saying, do you know that?
Border crossings were higher under Joe Biden. Yes, I'm asking you, what do you think caused that?
They were insane. The levels were.
What do you think caused higher levels of border crossings under Joe Biden?
I don't know. You tell me.
The effects that COVID caused globally ravaged a lot of these countries a lot more, so they fled at higher instances. What
was?
You know, border crossings began to spike under Donald Trump, right? Like in 2019 and into 2020, they began to grow.
The border was locked up.
Border crossings began to grow under Donald Trump, so much so that when Joe Biden left office, border crossings were lower. Hold on, wait, no, hold on. You have to let me finish a point. Hold on. You have to let me finish a point. Joe Biden, when he left office, border crossings were lower than when Donald Trump left office. So would you say the border was better under Joe Biden since they were lower when he left office than when Donald Trump left office?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
No, I'm asking you. No, hold on. Because you said the border was so much worse under Biden. You cited higher numbers. And you cited higher numbers. And you cited higher numbers as the reason, right? So at the end of Joe Biden's term, border numbers were lower. Does that mean the border was better when Joe Biden left office?
You're literally taking 1 point in time.
I'm asking you. It was like that for a few months when he left office. He had 2 or 3 consecutive months of lower border numbers than when Trump left office.
You literally let the third world literally come in.
But was it better? Was the border better right then?
4 years. And then
you're skirting around you're skirting around a very specific question. Was the border better when Joe Biden left office than when Donald Trump left office, since border numbers were lower?
What do you mean at that transient time?
Yes, was it better?
But that doesn't.
Border numbers were lower. Was his border better? Was Biden's border better than Trump? Border numbers were lower when he left.
You're being very silly. You're thinking. Why don't you take the number of crossings during their term?
So hold on. The border was worse under Biden when there was more crossings, but it's also still worse when there's less crossings.
No, take the entire term of the presidency.
You're sounding like quite the Trump guy. You can't even concede that. I mean, the border crossings were lower when Biden left office.
But
objectively.
you're taking one instance in time.
It means that he fixed the border for numerous months. He had declines in border crossings.
You know what happened? They knew Trump was coming. They knew they were going to get fucked.
No, Biden signed an executive order. There's a 1-to-1 correlation to Biden signing an executive order and border crossings dropping.
He was a ghost. He didn't sign anything.
Right. His executive order specifically allowed him to close the border to mitigate the amount of crossings.
I love how at the very end of his term he decided to close the border, but it took 4 years for this mental.
No, he tried to pass border legislation. What was the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021?
Okay, that bill was shit.
What was in the bill? Name three things. Name three things that were in the bill.
After 5,000 people, you stop letting them in.
That's the bipartisan border bill in 2023. I'm talking about the border bill that they tried to pass the first week of their administration. That would have increased border agents. It would have increased judges to process asylum claims. It would have increased lawyers for visas.
Why didn't they just do it? What's happening now? You know what's happening?
Because they didn't have 60 seats. Because they didn't have 60 seats in the Senate.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't. No.
Yeah, they did.
The last time either party has had 60 seats in the Senate was under Barack Obama.
No, I'm not talking about 60 seats. I'm talking about just doing it with 50.
Yeah, you can't just do things with a simple majority. You need a super majority.
Some things they won't filibuster, but also
they would have absolutely filibustered that. They also said Republicans refused to do it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can ask me whatever.
Why is the border the tightest it has ever been, and all the border crossings are literally almost zero right now?
Yeah, I mean, why did it start under Biden if it's because of Trump? Why was it lower? Why did he get it lower than Trump had it?
I want you to tell me right now, and since Trump took office, why has it gone down to almost zero? It's gone down so low that it's like 20 a day. It's literally in the 10.
Well, Trump has done things like a travel ban. He's banned immigration from 12 countries. He's also like heinously deporting people.
Isn't this a good thing then?
No. I think immigration is beneficial, and I think immigration is beneficial to a country. And
people crossing the border illegally is not immigration. That's not immigration.
That's immigration. Definitely. That's definitely
illegal. That's illegal bullshit.
No, and also it's like illegal is a bit of a misnomer. In most situations, illegal is a bit of a misnomer. I'm just saying.
If I want a job, I want to work in America, I can just walk across the border and say, I'm gonna just live.
I think that you should be able to do something almost that easy. Yeah, if you were coming here to work. Why? Because you would benefit America. I think if you had skills. I think if you had the skills and you wanted to come and work in America, it shouldn't be hard for you to do so because you're on net a benefit to America.
Wait, but you can't do that.
Do what?
But you just said you can't do that.
I mean, you can't, no, currently, but you should be able to, yeah.
Well, so what you want is a North American Union, like a European Union.
I think we should have a border process that.
You want an EU.
I think we should have a border process that incentivizes legal immigration instead of illegal immigration.
Well, you have a president that wants to annex our country, and we all fucking hate America, so I don't think it's going very well.
I mean, Trump just has bad policies around the horn. He wants to do tax cuts. That's a dumb policy. He wants to ban abortion. That's a dumb policy.